This video will show you how to make a color ink test strip. You should choose color aid before mixing your ink because color aid is actually screen printed sheets of paper. These are the best references on which to guide your ink mixing. If you do not have color aid, you can always use color sample chips from a hardware store or images which you have a palette that you enjoy, or even Plant Life. We have color aid in the shop, so feel free to use that. Do not try to color mix from your screen on your phone or iPad or computer, because that's not a true representation of what the color will look like in reality. I also recommend mixing your color by the window because light from the sun is a better color or representation of the light that you will show your print in. Color does change depending on where you will be showing the print, so from one space to another. I suggest also, when you're starting to mix your palette, to have clean deli containers, the transparent base, clean spatulas, clean mini squeegees, and a clean screen, and of course your ink. Please, before using the big gallon tubs of ink, choose other students' inks that have been made previously. You're also going to want to test those premix colors before using them as well. Make sure that you also mix the ink, since the pigment separates from the base and will look different on the outside of the tub as well as at the top of the ink when you pull open the tub. When mixing your colors, you will need as many colors as the layers that you're printing. So if you're doing 5 layers for your edition, then you need 5 colors. So you will also be making the test strip from the same color paper that you will be printing on. We do have scrap paper in the shop in the scrap paper drawer. When you're using the same color paper, this will give you the true representation of how the ink will look in the end. When you're pulling ink onto paper, it looks different when it's wetter than drier. So you can use a hair dryer in between each time you make a test of a color. And you always want to make sure that you make more color or ink than for larger ink surfaces. So that means that you need more ink for flats than you do for small line. I always mix small quantities at first and record how I've mixed them, and then make larger quantities afterwards. This way you don't waste ink. As you mix your ink, you will need to pull each color through the screen. You're going to make almost like a woven pattern. So you first will print the background, and then on top you intersect it with the next color, and so on and so on. The color in the background should be the largest strip. Then the next one should all be overlaid, and so on and so on. This will show you the truer interaction of the color. I also suggest that you put the base color into all the subsequent ink, even if it's a different color, like a green versus an orange. This will create more of a harmonious palette. The reason that you will be printing your ink through a screen versus dabbing it with your finger or painting it on is it will look better or truer to how it will look in the end when you've printed the image. You can also always modify your ink with transparent base. The transparent base will make it look more like a watercolor, or will actually create different layers of how the colors will interact. Remember the rule of thumb that you should always mix dark colors into light, not the other way around. Color mixing is complex and takes a while to create a beautiful palette, so take your time and be patient when doing so.